Hello everybody, this is V Prince and this is my 11-month widow update since my husband Domonic Prince passed away in February of 2016. First off, Happy New Year. I did not record a 10-month update due to the holidays and just a lot going on. To be completely honest and transparent, December was a very rough month for me. Very rough. Not only was it just the end of the year, and a very rough year for everyone. I think all of our energies were kind of all over the place. But it was also my birthday, which was tough to get through my first birthday without my husband. It was also the holidays. That was very rough emotionally. And there's kind of like this level of depression that they call the holiday slump, or they call it something else, but it is a time when a lot of people feel emotionally down. So it's kind of like an automatic thing, I imagine, but emphasis on the fact that, I've lost a family member, I'm still not able to see my daughter, and it was just a really rough month for me. On top of that, I kind of went through, I guess you could call it a breakup, I guess. I'll get to that later on. Okay, so to start off with, as far as the update, I'm going to try to keep this as quick as possible because I know the other ones have been very lengthy and I want to work on being more concise. If you hear any animal sounds in the background, that is one of 3 of my cats in this house, which 2 are mine and 1's my sister's. Rest in peace to our cat that died in November. Very, very upset about that. Huey, she. But we still have our 3 babies, and Cheddar is very vocal. So if you hear anything in the background, you know who that is. First off, something that I've noticed in the past 11 months that I've been really terrible about, and this goes out to everyone that's been such a good friend to me thus far and helped me along the way. I have become narcissistic as hell. It is to the point where it's very hard for me to have conversations and not have them focus on me. And what's interesting is I don't know if it was always this way. I don't actually know if I've always been this narcissistic, if I've always been this self-centered. I've just noticed that I tend to sway a conversation to come back to me somehow. And it's horrible. I can't half the time stop myself. In addition to the social anxiety that I suffer, which is like really bad. I have anxiety on a daily basis anyway. I have kind of bad symptoms of anxiety. But in addition to that, when I get in front of people, I have a level of word vomit. And, there's a bit of, just selfish conversation that comes out. So I apologize to anyone who's noticed this as well. And I apologize for being a bad friend. Another thing is I'm really flaky. I lose motivation to go out very often. I try my best to get there, but then I'll just get up to it. And this is another level of social anxiety where I'll just be like, I don't want to go. I can't do this. And it makes me feel really bad, but I'm working on self-care. So I hope that you guys will give me a little bit more time to work on it. To all my friends, I love you guys. I'm sorry if I broke our plans last minute or whatever. Thank you for still loving me. Seriously, like you guys are the real MVPs. Okay, so the flakiness, narcissism, and I wrote a nice little list because I wanted to make sure that I was touching all the topics since I did miss last month, and I wanted to make sure that I was updating you guys adequately. Another thing, lack of focus, which I've talked about before. It's actually gotten a little better. I've just been working on keeping myself to a schedule. I got this awesome planner from Target, which someone suggested for me to do and just write out things almost hour by hour. And it just helps me to stay focused. The great thing is that I'm kind of ramping up to go back to work. So I'm getting my mind ready for that, my spirit ready for that. I've even started working out a little bit more. Since the new year started, I've been kind to myself because I was traveling. And so I haven't started working out again in the new year yet, but I will very, very soon. So that's been very good for me. I've also started meditating. I try to do 2 minutes a day. Some days, for whatever reason, I just can't get my mind to like slow down and make it worthwhile, but I still try to do it anyway as often as I can. And it actually has been a very big help. Drinking much more water. This has been good too. Lots of little things. If you want more details on that, please inbox me, send me a message, whatever. Let's see. Okay, so December was really crazy, and as far as my social circle, like I was around my family, but there were a lot of times when I wanted to be more around my family and I just wasn't for whatever reason, and it just made me feel very lonely. Now, obviously, I did this to myself. I could have very easily walked 100 feet over to my parents' apartment and I could have been with my family, but it's kind of like wanting to be alone with someone, if that even makes sense. And I've been struggling with that because there's really only one person that I want to be with and I can't. And so mentally it's an exercise. And I don't say this for people to feel sorry for me or to message me and say, hey, you could have hung out with me. I have a complete circle of people that I can reach out to at any given time. It's really just wanting romantic company, if that even makes sense. That's about as much as I can explain. So that has happened. I've been dealing with that, I think, very well. I've been keeping myself busy. So it has its moments where I'm like, oh, I wish I could do something tonight. And most nights I can find something to do. But then occasionally I'm like, I just want to snuggle on a couch. Do they have a company for that? A snuggle company where you can just like, they probably do. Let me stop because I don't have budget for that either. So, okay. All right, let's get to the thing that I had mentioned earlier, which was a bad, I'll just say, breakup. As I mentioned in a previous video, I was seeing someone who, he was a good guy for the most part. This is going to be really difficult for me to do, seeing as some of the wounds are still fresh, but I'm going to work my way through this. I was seeing someone who was very special to me at the time. He actually helped me with a lot of the grieving that I was going through, especially when it was fresh. We had, I guess, started talking in maybe May or June. And like nothing super serious. He was just someone that I knew I could kind of depend on and lean on for like, to lend his ear and to like, just really be there for me in addition to my family. And he was helping me with my business. I was helping him with his. And it seemed like it was a kind of nice thing for what it was. Again, nothing super serious. Just kind of, I don't know, what would you say, friend with benefits? I have no idea what you want to call it. And I'll just say that the trust was broken in a way that was not, and I'm really struggling with this because I'm trying to be like, give you guys details without giving too many details. Long and short is we had a agreement about specific things and he completely lied to me about a lot of the things that had been going on. And it ended up being with someone else, another friend of mine that it ended up happening with. And it definitely tarnished my view on like being able to trust people and let people in. However, I come to realize that in situations like that, especially since I'm like back new dating, it is very important that I analyze the situation, take the blame for what is actually my fault, and then relinquish the rest of that. So when it came down to it, he was a person that towards the end didn't have the capabilities of being there for me, but also being there for himself. He was going through a lot on his own, and this is not to make an excuse for him, but you have to have the capacity to be able to love and care for someone. And so if you can't do that for yourself, it's very hard for you to do that efficiently for other people. And I really feel like he had gotten to a place where he let all of that go. He completely went against maybe who he really was as a person. I mean, I think a lot of people get wrapped up in that, in some image that they have of themselves and not being honest with what their real needs are. To be honest, he was very charming and very good at telling me lies. Very, very good at consistently being unreliable over time, which kind of, I think it made me feel really bad, and it made me feel like it was my fault in a way, like as if I didn't deserve his time and his energy. And so the way things ended was on a very sour note. Very, very sour. It definitely changes my image of who he is, also who my so-called friend was supposed to be. And it's been really weird and really messy, and I don't ever want to do this again. Like, I don't ever want to be in this position again. As it pertains to dating, I'm still very much open to dating, but I'm also going to be more careful about the warning signs, because there were tons of warning signs before all this happened, and I just, for one reason or another, ignored him and also listened to him and thinking that he'd be telling me the truth, and he didn't. So there's that. I've given you guys the most concise version of that situation as I possibly could without incriminating too many people. So there's that. Let's see, better news. I am in better spirits nowadays, even though the holidays were really difficult for me. The new year has been picking up. I mean, Obama's out of office, which I'm kind of like sad about, but it is what it is. We all have to be able to move on and do what we need to do regardless of really who's in office, because the day-to-day doesn't change. Like, you still have to go to work. Unless we get a president that's like, nobody has to work and everybody gets $1 million instantly. I mean, I'd be all for that. But in the meantime, the grind doesn't stop. So I'm looking forward to kind of getting back to work and, just, meeting people and just being awesome. What else? I don't know. I can't think of anything else, but I love you guys. And I appreciate all the support, seriously. I'm looking at moving out of state at some point in the future, this year for sure. And so if you want to see me, come say hi and let's make arrangements, because I don't know when I'm leaving. So we need to make this happen like ASAP. What other things? Can't think of anything else. So yes, I appreciate you, and I will see you guys hopefully very soon. Thank you again. Bye.